Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're cutting through all that daily buzz online.
Yeah,
We're
right.
aiming to bring you the crucial insights from what's really trending right now,
Mhm.
specifically on the X platform. Think of it like a shortcut to understanding the pulse of things.
That's exactly right. And for this deep dive, our mission isn't just to see what's popular, but to really pull out the important bits of knowledge,
Mhm.
and the wider implications from these posts that are getting all the attention. We'll look at tech, finance, societal trends, cultural stuff, all through that lens of what people are actually talking about.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, we have this really intriguing visual. It's a throwback, actually, from 2016.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, shared by @CrittyBoge. It's a photo of Elon Musk and Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA. What's maybe the most surprising thing about this early meetup between two guys who became, well, huge tech giants?
What's really striking, I think, is how much that simple picture kind of foreshadowed everything. That 2016 meeting, it wasn't just a photo opera. It actually laid some groundwork for this incredible synergy later on. NVIDIA's GPU tech, it became absolutely critical for Tesla's self-driving systems.
Uh-huh. Wow.
And this partnership, which, a 2025 TechCrunch report later validated in terms of AI's role in cars,
Yeah.
it also highlights something kind of human.
Okay.
Both these leaders, right, immense influence, but they both publicly admitted they struggle with public speaking.
Really? Both of them?
Yeah. Huang admitted stage fright. Musk noted similar challenges. And there's even a 2023 study that kind of backs this up, linking high-stakes leadership roles with increased performance anxiety.
Wow, that's a powerful link, isn't it?
Yeah.
Personal challenges, but then this massive business impact. So how big do you think this convergence sparked by these early meetings really is for their industries?
Oh, it's profound. It suggests a sort of blueprint for future innovation. It's not just about two companies teaming up.
Right.
It's about fields that seem separate, like cars and chip making, merging to unlock these huge advancements. This kind of cross-industry collaboration. It's
Yeah.
becoming the way to achieve these multi-trillion-dollar shifts,
Yeah.
and often starts from these less formal early relationships.
Interesting. Okay, well, speaking of Elon Musk, another post trending is from his own account at Elon Musk. It just shows two rocket emojis,
Sure.
and a funny picture of him on a dragon boat. What's the hidden message here? Seems casual, but what's it mean for AI competition?
Yeah, it looks simple, but it actually symbolizes the really fast competitive edge of xAI's Grok 4 Heavy model.
Grok 4 heavy, okay.
Right. Recent xAI documents show it achieved a groundbreaking 50.7% on something called humanity's last exam. It's
That's
basically a super tough test designed to push AI models to their absolute cognitive limits. And that score, it actually beats rivals like Claude Opus 4.
Wow.
And there's more. Grok 4 Heavy scored 15.9% on the RRC AGI V2 benchmark. That's a key test for programming skills. That score is nearly double the previous leader. So it just shows how fast xAI is moving.
okay. And the dragon boat.
That cleverly ties into SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft.
Yeah.
It hints at Musk's bigger vision, right? Integrating AI and space tech,
Got it.
which lines up with SpaceX hitting that milestone back in 2020, resuming astronaut flights for NASA.
So AI making these huge leaps, getting woven into physical things like space tech. What are the wider implications for the AI race for innovation?
Well, it paints a picture where AI isn't just software anymore. It's deeply tangled up with physical infrastructure like space.
Right.
The speed of improvement in xAI's models, it signals this accelerating arms race in AI, pushing boundaries like never before. And that integration, well, it also raises some critical questions, doesn't it? About the ethics, the guardrails we need when AI gets built into these foundational technologies.
Definitely something to watch. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk finance. There's a post from @ZeroHedge making a pretty bold claim.
Oh, yeah. What could say?
It says, global bonds dumping, Bitcoin soaring. Kind of, we're getting to the end game here. That sounds dramatic. What's the significance of Bitcoin going up while traditional safe assets like bonds are supposedly getting dumped?
Yeah, endgame is strong wording, but it does signal a potentially major shift in how investors are feeling, away from those traditional safe havens.
Okay.
Bitcoin surging while bonds fall. It reflects this growing appeal for crypto, especially when things feel financially unstable. A 2023 study from the National Bureau of Economic Research kind of backs that trend.
And the post mentions silver, too.
Right, silver waking up. That lines up with a 2024 report from Rome showing 6 straight years where silver demand outpaced supply. That deficit could definitely drive prices up.
So this raises a question for you listening. What if China, they hold about $759 billion in U.S. treasuries. What if they decide to dump them?
That's a big what if.
It is. Investopedia's 2024 data suggests it could push Treasury yields up by 30 to 60 basis points. That's, 0.3% to 0.6%, which could speed up this shift to alternatives. So why should you care about these big macroeconomic shifts? How could they impact your own portfolio?
You absolutely should care because these aren't just abstract numbers, right?
Right.
They directly hit things like mortgage rates, business loans, everything. They influence the stability of your traditional investments versus newer things like crypto or metals. It's really about understanding risk and opportunity in this, rapidly changing global economy.
So being informed helps you make better decisions.
Exactly. More resilient financial decisions.
Okay, digging deeper into Bitcoin. We see Michael Saylor, big Bitcoin advocate, tweeting from his account @Saylor. His company, Strategy, just bought more BTC.
He's really doubling down.
Seriously.
Yeah.
His whole strategy challenges conventional finance. How big a deal is this reevaluation of how companies manage their treasury?
It's quite profound, actually. This praise for Strategy buying another 4,225 Bitcoin for $472.5 million. It reflects this really bold, almost pioneering corporate move towards Bitcoin as a main treasury asset. Saylor's been championing this, and he's got proved holding Bitcoin can give amazing returns. Strategy's got this massive hoard now, 600 to 1,550 BTC.
Wow.
Valued at $42.87 billion. And it yielded, get this, 20.2% in 2025.
20%. Compared to what?
Well, compare that to traditional stuff like the S&P 500. It only saw about 2% growth in the same period.
That's staggering, just staggering outperformance. And Bitcoin hit a new high, right? Near 120K around July 13th.
Yep, driven by policy optimism in the U.S., institutional demand.
So what's the key takeaway from Saylor's approach? What does it suggest for Bitcoin being adopted by more companies?
I think the key takeaway is that this isn't just speculation anymore. Saylor took a huge gamble, and it's paid off incredibly well. It forces other companies to at least consider Bitcoin, not just as some volatile fad, but as a legitimate store of value, maybe even growth. It suggests a potential paradigm shift, really. More companies might start adding Bitcoin to their balance sheets, even if the long-term risks haven't been fully studied in peer-reviewed economics yet.
Fascinating times in corporate finance. Okay, let's shift gears again, maybe to something more personal. Personal values. There's a trending post from @FitFounder listing the best male status symbols.
Okay, what's on the list? Luxury watches, fast cars.
Not quite. It includes things like a fit body, being well-read, and interestingly, avoids internet drama.
That is a departure.
Right. A big shift from traditional material symbols. What's the deeper meaning here, moving from, say, luxury cars to these intrinsic qualities?
Yeah, that post reflects a really significant evolution in what society, or at least parts of it, values. There was a 2023 study finding that 68% of men now prioritize personal growth over just wealth for their self-esteem.
68%. That's substantial.
It is. And the point about avoiding internet drama, that lines up perfectly with a very deliberate mental health strategy in this hyper-connected world we live in.
Right, like actively opting out.
Exactly. It counters all those studies linking heavy social media use with increased depression and anxiety, and they list optimism too, right?
Yeah, optimism was on there.
Well, there's even a study from way back in 1989 showing that optimists actually recover faster from surgery. It shows optimism has a measurable impact, physically and psychologically.
That's amazing. So this connection between well-being and what we value, what does it all mean for how we're defining success now?
I think it suggests this growing awareness that maybe true status isn't about showing off external stuff, right? It's more about cultivating an internal strength, mental resilience, having meaningful relationships. It feels like a fundamental move towards a more holistic, maybe even healthier definition of success and fulfillment, especially in a world that feels increasingly complex.
A shift towards inner value. Okay, now from personal values to some pretty big systemic challenges. A post from @UnusualWhales is trending, highlighting a Fortune piece that says, Gen Z and millennials can't afford to buy a house.
Oof. Yeah, that's a stark reality for so many.
That really is. From your perspective, what's the real driver behind this huge economic challenge for younger generations? Is it just avocado toast?
No, definitely not just avocado toast. The true driver is, it's a complex mix of big economic policies and market forces. It's not just about individual spending habits.
Okay.
Look at the numbers. Home prices shot up an incredible 114% between 2010 and 2021.
114%.
Yeah. Meanwhile, wages for Gen Z and millennials only grew about 28%. That massive gap is backed up by Federal Reserve data.
So what caused that price explosion?
A lot of it goes back to policies after the 2008 financial crisis, particularly the Fed's quantitative easing.
Right, QE.
which basically flooded the market with cheap money, low interest capital. That inflated assets like mortgage-backed securities and definitely home prices.
There was a 2019 study that really detailed how those central bank actions ended up skewing wealth distribution quite significantly.
And the consequence, we see it in the data, right? A 9% jump in young adults living with their parents by 2021. One study linked a quarter of that directly to housing costs.
Exactly.
So understanding these systemic factors, how does that really reframe the whole narrative, move it beyond blaming generational laziness?
It fundamentally changes the conversation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It makes it crystal clear this isn't about young people not trying hard enough. It's about the economic landscape being profoundly reshaped by these huge systemic forces. Understanding that lets us maybe move towards addressing the root causes through policy changes instead of just unfairly blaming individuals for a crisis largely created by forces way beyond their control. A much bigger picture. Okay, let's pivot now to an urgent environmental concern. There's been a lot of reaction to a post about massive flooding right now in Plainfield, NJ.
Oh, I saw that. Pretty intense videos.
Yeah, the post from @EdCrasson included video and asked, why are we having so many floods in America? Maybe it's time we start taking climate change seriously. What strikes you about how often we seem to be seeing these severe events?
Well, that post from Plainfield, with its submerged cars and everything, it lines up exactly with what climate scientists have been warning about.
The IPCC findings?
Precisely.
Right.
The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. They explicitly state that climate change is exacerbating factors like rainfall intensity that directly contributes to more frequent and more severe floods. What's really alarming, then, is that our traditional ways of assessing flood risk, they often don't properly account for climate change impacts like sea level rise or more intense storms.
So we're underestimating the risks.
Significantly, in
Right.
many places. We're basing plans on past data that just doesn't reflect the future reality.
And connecting this to the bigger picture, Plainfield, okay, it has a history of flooding issues. But this recurring problem, combined with these global climate trends, it really highlights an urgency, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
So what does this mean for our preparedness, our infrastructure in this changing climate?
It means we simply cannot rely just on historical data anymore for planning. We need strategies that are adaptive, forward-looking.
Right.
We need to integrate climate science directly into urban planning, into how we build infrastructure, into our emergency response systems. It's really crucial if we want to protect communities from these increasingly severe and, frankly, unpredictable weather events. It demands proactive investment and much better modeling.
Proactive is the key word there.
Okay.
Let's talk state economies. A post from @EricDahl announces Florida wins for the third year in a row as the strongest U.S. economy, according to CNBC.
Third year, huh? Florida's doing something right by their metrics.
Apparently. But the post also brings in a contrasting view, kind of questioning California's economic ranking alongside this. How do different state policies really impact economic health, and what should we consider?
Well, Florida's ranking, yeah, third year running, driven by strong job growth, lots of new businesses forming.
Okay.
The contrast with California, it likely hints at debates around things like California's sanctuary state policies, right?
Probably.
But what's interesting is there was a 2017 study that actually looked at sanctuary counties, including many in California. And it found they tended to have lower crime rates and stronger economies compared to non-sanctuary areas.
Really? Lower crime and stronger economies?
Yeah, it directly challenges that common narrative that sanctuary policies automatically hurt economic stability.
Huh. So, Florida might have its strengths in tourism and trade, but this suggests California's diverse economy might actually benefit from policies that boost labor participation, potentially narrowing that gap.
It's possible. A 2025 economic outlook did predict Florida's growth might moderate a bit due to a cooling global economy. California, with its different economic drivers, including those potential labor advantages from its policies, could indeed close the gap.
So what's the lesson here about judging state economies?
I think it's crucial to look beyond the simple headlines, the easy narrative.
Right.
We need to examine the full, often really complex economic impact of different policy choices. What looks like a disadvantage from one angle might actually be an advantage in another sector. It just highlights the need for nuanced analysis considering all parts of a state's economic engine. There's rarely just one simple answer.
Good point. Okay, from serious economics to some pop culture buzz, a post about Nicholas Hoult playing Lex Luthor in the 2025 Superman movie is trending,
Ah, yes, the new Lex.
shared by @CulturePrave. And Holt apparently said his hope for the character is to destroy Superman. Classic Lex.
Classic Lex, indeed.
What does this casting and his stated goal tell us about superhero movie trends? What are audiences looking for now?
Well, Holt as Lex. There's already fan speculation buzzing on X, right? About Lex maybe using a clone, having a team that knows Superman's weaknesses.
Yeah, I saw some of that. Kryptonite, hostage taking.
Exactly. It aligns with the film's supposed plot. And this idea of Lex nearly winning, it ties right back into his historical obsession in the comics, proving he's smarter than Superman. Even if it leads to his own downfall sometimes. Remember Lexor?
Oh, right, the planet he accidentally destroyed. Hubris.
Total hubris. But what's really fascinating now is the fan speculation that Superman will need allies like Mr. Terrific to win.
Ah, so not just a solo victory.
Exactly. And that reflects this real-world audience fatigue with the lone superhero trope. There was a 2023 study showing 68% of viewers actually prefer seeing ensemble dynamics when facing complex villains.
68% prefer teams. That's a clear signal.
It really is.
So what's the broader evolution happening in the superhero genre then?
It tells us audiences are craving more complexity, more interconnected stories. Heroes aren't invincible gods anymore. And villains pose these multifaceted threats that demand teamwork, collaboration to overcome. It's a move towards something maybe a bit more realistic, more collaborative heroism, even within these fantasy worlds. The era of the single, all-powerful hero might be, well, evolving.
Into something more dynamic. Interesting. Okay, now shifting to a more controversial, sensitive topic that keeps trending. A post from @Leading Report claims Congress is trying to stop Ghislaine Maxwell from disclosing Jeffrey Epstein's client list.
Right, that narrative keeps circulating. It touches on some deep public distrust.
Absolutely. What's the actual situation here as far as we know, and how do we even navigate these completely competing narratives?
It's tricky. So this X post questions the credibility of a report echoed by a Daily Mail article from July 14th claiming Congress is blocking Maxwell.
Okay.
However, you have contrasting information directly from the U.S. Department of Justice.
Mm-hmm.
On July 8th, they stated flatly that no Epstein client list, as such, exists.
No list exists, according to the DOJ.
Right. And they released modified video evidence supporting his 2019 suicide ruling. Now, that directly challenges the conspiracy theories, but it also raises questions about data integrity itself, especially since the FBI admitted some footage was missing.
So official denials, but also admitted data gaps.
Exactly. And then you have widespread social media speculation, even from places like the Times of India, fueling public fears that Maxwell might face danger, maybe suicide, if she reveals more.
So you have official statements on one side, and then this persistent speculation and distrust on the other, even with limited hard evidence for a specific client list. It's such a clear example of our current information environment.
It really is.
What does this tell us about trying to find truth or even just clarity on complex, sensitive topics today?
It's a profound illustration of how public perception and, frankly, conspiracy theories can really take hold and spread, especially when official accounts are seen as incomplete or contradictory. Even without definitive proof. It just underscores this huge challenge.
Yeah.
How do you establish trust? How do you deliver clarity in an age of instant, unfiltered information where every single statement is immediately picked apart, debated, and countered by countless other voices online? It's incredibly difficult.
A really complex challenge for everyone involved. Wow, okay. That was a truly insightful deep dive into just some of the conversations really buzzing on X right now.
Yeah, quite a range.
From AI's future and finance shifts to changing values, urgent environmental issues, pop culture, ongoing controversies, it's clear these trending posts really do offer a unique, almost real-time pulse of our world.
Indeed. And if you connect the dots, it shows how platforms like X aren't just for quick, hot takes, right? They act as these collective mirrors, reflecting our deepest interests, our hopes, our anxieties, which really leaves us with a pretty important question, I think. How does this constant flood of information, these super rapid-fire discussions happening on social media, how does it truly shape our understanding of the world? And maybe more importantly, what responsibility do we have as informed citizens to really discern truth and contribute constructively to this massive global conversation?
Something for all of you to mull over as you navigate your own feeds today.